Thanksgiving. Um, I hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. I sure in hell did. I was able to see my dad's mom's side of the family that who I haven't seen since my graduation. It was really fun, and then my mom brought me some food, so it was really cool. It was really fun. I hope everyone had a good time. They ate a lot, did whatever. So yeah, now it's on to Christmas. So yeah, now now on to rumors and comments. There's only one real rumor. Well, technically two, but you could guess both of them as being like, I don't know. Okay, so the first rumor is Ronda Rousey is expected to wrestle Charlotte again before getting a Becky Lynch match at WrestleMania 35, most likely at the Royal Rumble. That said, it is at least possible that they do a triple threat at WrestleMania. Now, when this was rumored, the site that it was rumored on, people were so pissed off in the comments saying, oh, of course they're going to give it to Charlotte, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, first of all, we don't even know that this is true yet. And the fact that they were even considering Becky over Charlotte in a one-on-one versus Ronda and had to add Charlotte to Becky and Ronda's storyline shows that Becky is still the star in all this. It shows that they still want to showcase Becky as sorry about that, guys. Red Cross was calling me to set up an appointment to give my blood because I'm a blood donor and all that. Okay, now, as I was saying, people were up in arms and I'm like, the fact that they're still considering Becky to even be in that match and not just completely throw her out and make it Charlotte versus Ronda shows you how much they still feel like Becky is the star in all this and how much they feel like Becky is at least the main culprit going into this. So I don't know why people are so surprised. We all knew that the first ever women's main event was going to have Ronda Rousey in it. And we all knew that Charlotte was going to be a very likely opponent for Ronda in that scenario. The fact that they're even considering Becky over Charlotte when the plan was Charlotte since Ronda fucking debuted should say something about the star power of Becky and about how high not only the company but Vince himself is on her. Like, not trying to be funny, but every single time someone else gets spotlight, it seems like Becky fans go in a fucking uproar. And it's like, dude, if Becky can't have a successful division behind her, and if she has to be the only one shining and the only one getting spotlight, then clearly she's not a big star. That's my opinion. If your fave cannot shine bright with other bright stars and she can't, be this great Becky Lynch, the man character, with Charlotte and Ronda both present, then clearly she's not as big as you think she is. That's my opinion. But either way, I would love to see either match. And I'm gonna wait until it's closer to time. But either way, the first ever women's main event, WrestleMania, looks like a mixture of Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. Either one of those, anything involving all three of them is going to be great to me. So I do not care. And in my opinion, even though I don't think Ronda deserves it WWE wise, mainstream wise, she definitely needs to be there. But I feel like in some type of way, all three of these women deserve that. They did. Just like Nikki deserved to be the one to main event the first ever all women's pay-per-view, a combination of these three deserve to be the first ever all women's WrestleMania match. Whether it's Ronda's mainstream appeal that will add to the match, whether it's Charlotte Flair's ability to perform in high risk, high stakes matches and storylines, or whether it's Becky Lynch rise to the top and her owning her character and her storylines. A combination of all those these women would be great for a main event. Would I like it to be Becky versus Ronda? Yeah. But if it's a triple threat and if the story is good, I'm not going to be mad at it either. I'm not. Especially since we most likely know that Becky is most likely going to win anyway. So, because Ronda already had her WrestleMania moment, Charlotte's had her WrestleMania moment, Becky's the only one that hasn't had it. Well, win/moment. Becky's the only one. And in this storyline, depending on what the storyline is, Becky would be the one that would make sense to win. So, like I said, I'm going to wait until they start building towards it, but any combination of those three for the women's main event of WrestleMania, I'm good with it. In my opinion, Charlotte getting spotlight does not slight Becky Lynch. If you feel that way, clearly Becky isn't as big as you thought as you think she is. Okay. Now, the other rumor is basically the other rumor is basically that Baron is going to lose to Braun at TLC, of course. And that Alexa Bliss is going to take his spot as GM. And I could see that. I could definitely see that. And I would be okay with that because Baron bores me to fucking tears. And Alexa, in my opinion, I don't want her to stop wrestling, but kind of in a way of like a Paige, she can be an asset in many different ways, more than a wrestler. And even though I don't think she's bad, despite popular belief, I do not think that Alexa is bad. I think that her strong suits are her character and her mic work and her ability to work the crowd. Very similar to a Stephanie. Very similar to a Vicky. And I feel like if they do it like that, where she wrestles occasionally, I'm okay with that. But we'll see where that rumor goes to. Now, on to the comments. Okay, so this is about Ronda's character. There's nothing to empathize with about Ronda's character. She came in and was handed everything to her. WWE made their revolution about her. She slut-slammed a hard-working veteran for a cheap pop, and she walked into WWE without having to work for it. It's impossible for her to be a face right now, which I can definitely see, and I definitely do agree with. Because here's the thing. The same people that were praising Ronda's promos against Nikki and all of this are now the same ones bashing her promos against Becky. Despite the fact that it's literally the same fucking thing. It's cheap, dumbass, hypocritical material with Ronda. Her delivery is the same. And her online shit is the same. The only difference is that the ICW likes Becky and doesn't like Nikki. So with Nikki, all the shit that was wrong with her storyline with Becky was okay. But now that it's Becky, it's wrong. That's how you know it was a bandwagon and they weren't real Ronda fans. Just saying. And like I said, and I definitely agree with she's not being empathetic because people like to compare to Brock, but I'm like, Brock came up in OVW with John Cena, Batista, and Randy Orton. Okay? He went through fucking developmental. He worked a full-time schedule for fucking years. Years. Before he got the part-time schedule that he has now. Okay? John Cena, the Bella Twins, they've been in the company for decades. A decade and a couple years for the Bellas. Okay? They've earned the right to be part-time. Okay? And Ronda's already complaining about not being home and all that stuff. So clearly Ronda doesn't plan on sticking around for more than a couple of years, which I figured anyway because she wants to have kids soon. I figured that. So, like, she's not really empathetic. Like, I could be more empathetic with a Shayna Baszler more than I can Ronda. Because Shayna Baszler went through the indies. Okay, she went through the indies, Japan and all that. Then she went through WWE developmental in NXT. And then she'll come up to the main roster. Ronda's first fucking match was at Wrestle Goddamn Mania against Stephanie and Triple H, and the partner was Kurt Angle. Who else can fucking say that? And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but character-wise, there's nothing to be empathetic of Ronda for. Hell, a lot of people were agreeing with Nikki's promos more than they were Ronda. A lot of people are dragging Ronda with her promos with Becky because it's the same fucking material. It's the same hypocritical, dumbass bullshit material about you working hard and this and this, but yet you literally, about you working hard and you being this fighter and you being this, yet you literally slut shamed two women that one wrestled with one wrestled with multiple injuries during her longest reign, and came back from a neck injury despite the fact that she did not need to at that time, and went on for a whole nother year run. And you bashed a fucking mother who we know there's not a whole lot of mothers that come back to wrestling. Yes, there is a few, but in the grand scheme of women's wrestling, there's not a lot. And once again, the fact that she did not have to, but chose to, once again, shows their passion. You bash Becky Lynch for being a pilot and this, and this, all because that's not what you would do. Yet, as soon as your ass lost 2 fights in UFC, you went blank for a fucking year. As soon as you weren't the baddest bitch on the planet, you went ghost. So how the hell do you have the right to tell these women that's worked hard in this business that they're not passionate, and that because what they're doing isn't what you would do, that they suck, and that they didn't contribute to this revolution? How and why should I ever fucking cheer you for that? So I definitely agree. Ronda's not sympathetic at all. Sorry. So when people boo Ronda, don't be surprised. It's not just a Becky. It's the way that she's been booked. It's the way that she, character-wise, has been handed everything. Yet, despite the fact that she's been handed everything, she acts like she was working in WWE for 5 fucking years. Like, no, bitch. No. You were handed everything in 4 goddamn months. Like, shut up. But yeah. Now let's get on to the next one. Becky was never an anti-hero, just a well-written heel whose fans refuse to boo because they think Vic sucks. At the time, her turn was awful because they didn't even realize what their own story was. Fans revolted. But then they found an amazing heel persona for her, but fans had already made up their minds. Most of her reactions weren't motivated by her actions, but by her pushing a disdain for how she'd been previously booked. And I definitely agree with that too. That was a perfect comment. I don't even have nothing to say. Just a great comment. And then this is about the Nia Jax backlash. Have Nia train some more. That's fine. But these narratives are just so disgusting to read, and she's not even my favorite female wrestler on the roster. It's like people don't want to reveal their true thoughts about her, and now thanks to Becky's injury, people are airing out their hatred. Yeah, some do have legit grievances, but others just need to shut the hell up and wait for more evidence to come forward. If it really turns out that she intentionally tried to hurt Becky, then by all means go at her. But if not, then you're not making yourself look good by wishing someone else to be fired, suspended, or downright humiliated because of an accident. Which I totally agree with. I totally agree with that. Do I think she needs a little bit more training? Yeah, I do. But I'm not going to call for her head. I'm not going to call for her job or nothing, because I'm not going to say this ain't ballet either, because I took ballet, and ballet is fucking hard as shit. But it's a contact sport. And just like with Liv and Brie, with Paige and Sasha, sometimes they use real life shit and they make it into a storyline. And this is getting Nia fucking heat, whether it's X-Pac heat, legit heat, fake heat, whatever heat, it's getting her a big ass reaction. And that is what WWE wants. So, but I definitely agree with that comment. And then there's some asshole. Okay. It makes me feel that Vince is actually happy to see Becky getting hurt so he can reward Nia, who injured her with reckless punch. And then someone said, that's the idiot of the comment. And then this comment just made my day when I read it. And the comment underneath it says, just stop. This was a big money match for Vince. This is going into Survivor Series, Becky versus Ronda. If you legitimately think Vince would want a top talent to get wrecked and sabotage the event, he was planning out and gave plenty of screen time to. I don't know what else to tell you. Vince is many things, but he'd be a downright idiot if he was excited about screwing up matches, especially due to the health and well-being of his wrestlers. If Vince really wanted to kill Becky's momentum, he'd have let Charlotte win clean as a whistle, and then have Becky win against Ronda later down the line. What does that victory matter if Charlotte did it first? As for Nia, it's called steering into the skid. What's done is done, so they should capitalize on the heat of Nia. People are already booing her, so they're gonna make the most of it. It's a bad thing that happened to begin with, but now that it happened, all they can do is own it, which I agree with. Which I totally agree with. It's like, people want Vince to be this horrible man, and it's just like, dude, you are a 40-year-old man sitting on your mother's basement. Please shut the fuck up about a man that built a multi-billion-dollar company. Please. Oh, and then this was when Charlotte snapped on Ronda at Survivor Series. She posted this on her Twitter. She said, y'all gonna keep messing around with me, gonna turn me back to the old me. If you don't know that line, if you're not a fan of rap, okay, so I'm a fan of rap, right? Real rap, not this shit that's out now. But if you're a fan of rap and you know who Dr. Dre is, that is a famous line by him, by Forget About Dre, okay? And I'm like, oh, okay, Charlotte's going that route. Cool. So as soon as she tweeted that, I'm like, I can already tell I'm going to love Charlotte's character now. I'm going to really get into it. She's going to be that cocky, crazed, heel that you want to boo so badly, but because she's so cocky and crazy, you love it. And I felt that already from her promo and her matches with the Iconics this past SmackDown. So I'm super excited for Charlotte. Okay, talked about that. And then someone said people need to understand, God damn it. Oh my god. No. Oh my god. I freaking hate this iPod. Okay, so someone said people need to understand folks that followed Ronda during her MMA career either loved her or really hated her. She had a horrible... Okay, good. Okay. Where is it? Okay. She had a horrible attitude and didn't carry herself well at all. The biggest thing is she thought she was the best and never fixed the holes in her game. That's what got that's what got her ass beat twice. She never owned up to it and quit. Now she went to WWE pretending she was always the best and always showed up. People that ain't cared for her before ain't going to like her now, especially with these millennial and always showing up type of promos. Which, once again, I agree with. Nothing about Ronda seems like a fake. She's too cocky. Like, that's the thing, is they're trying to make Ronda into this John Cena type of character when, bitch, you're not. You are not. If anything, make her into a fucking Brock Lesnar. Do that with her. That will work better with her. Make her cocky. Make her a heel. Because this face shit of her always wanting to show up and shit, yet you literally quit because you got your ass beat twice because you thought you were the best thing since sliced fucking bread, and you're bashing these women that have helped build the foundation for this fucking revolution. It's like, bitch, goodbye. Like, no. No, no, no. You need to pump your brakes. Like, and once again, that's why I can't get, like, one of the big reasons why I couldn't get behind Ronda was why I can't get behind AJ. Was because everything that her character preached was the exact opposite of what she was doing in real life. And I can't get behind that. I can't. So, yeah, like, I definitely agree with that. Make Ronda a heel. Make her a heel. I feel like it'll bow better for Ronda and it will bow better for her storylines. And then someone said, I gotta love how people are determined not to like something. WWE is trying to make Charlotte the new Becky, and it's not gonna work. No shit, because that's not what WWE is doing. Becky isn't on the short road of madness that leads to a place called Psychopath, but Charlotte is. As much as I love Becky, no matter how much she stirs the pot of, I guess I got fine 100 tonight and beat the Iconics, that doesn't change the fact that that's not what's going on here. Becky's a badass, Charlotte is becoming a mad queen. It's not the same thing. Which I agree with. Again, people think that because Charlotte turned heel, she's automatically copying Becky. No. Like the person said, Becky is a badass. Charlotte is becoming a psychopath. She's losing her fucking mind. A calculated and very spot on psychopath, but a psychopath nonetheless. Fans wildly perceived Charlotte's win at SummerSlam as stealing Becky's spotlight. That was the whole point of Becky's heel turn. Becky worked her ass off for months to earn her spotlight, and all Charlotte had to do was come back from injury to steal the moment from her. Except it was supposed to turn the fans against Charlotte for being irrational. But creative grossly underestimated how much of us fans were invested in her, to the point where the very few people that chose to boo her were only doing so to save her job, while the rest of us hijacked her heel turn so hard that WWE had no choice but to align her to a badass tweener face. The problem is some of us Becky fans have taken it too far, as we're convinced that despite the fact that Vince is so happy with what Becky has done, that he claims she's grabbed the brass ring, they're convinced that this means Charlotte is automatically going to replace Becky. Look, if Becky's injuries are so that severe, she's out past WrestleMania. Creative doesn't have a choice but to replace her. But I'm not necessarily convinced that's what's going on here. I'm convinced down the road it'll eventually supposed to align Becky with their edgy characters and lead to a 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen match. I don't agree with that part, but And then someone said, I've often accused WWE of lazy storytelling. However, in this case, I think it's more of lazy fanning. Automatically going to they're just trying to replace Becky with their Golden Girl without even giving one rational thought to the story being told. The biggest note here is not once during her heel turn was Becky ever crazy. Excluding her blaming the fans, everything Becky has done has been rational and calculated. Charlotte is far from that. She's on the road to becoming certifiable. The story needs to be allowed to play it out. Just assuming Becky is being replaced by Charlotte at this point is lazy. And I agree. I agree. Not trying to be funny, Becky fans seem to act like Becky did not get injured, that she did not get a fucking concussion. WWE would be dumb as hell to not have a second plan in place in case she cannot wrestle. That would be dumb. These fans always complain about WWE not having backups, not having a second plan, but as soon as they have one, because it might be at the expense of Becky to no fault of her own, or Charlotte for that matter, they get pissed off. It's like you can't have it both ways. Which again is why they are fucking idiots. There's nothing wrong with the triple threat. All three women deserve it. Like I said, I think Ronda in that spot is more of a mainstream thing and not anything that she's done in WWE. And it would be and would more likely kill it. You can still love Becky and appreciate other performers. She doesn't exist in isolation, which I agree with, and I can go on a whole fucking rant about that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep going. I think it's being read too much into us trying to capitalize on Becky. Ultimately, we have three ruthless females in Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte. Ronda is a prize fighter. Ronda is a prize fighter. Charlotte is a crazed, ruthless, and mean. And Becky just does whatever the hell she wants. In some ways, all three have similarities, but I see them all being their own individual characters, and I'm fine with that. I wouldn't take it as a slight against Becky in the least. Which again goes to the whole, if Becky's not in the spotlight by herself, then she's being buried. Like, no. To be a good performer, you need a great counterpart. And Becky has that with Ronda. And she has that with Charlotte. Sorry, she can't do it by herself, despite what y'all think. So many people are convinced that any semi-intriguing angle involving Charlotte means burying Becky permanently. Must be exhausting, which I totally agree with. There's one idiot who's full-on convinced that is true. That dumbass JD from NY guy on YouTube, he's an idiot, which I agree with. He is a fucking idiot, and I hate him with my fucking heart. People have been convinced that Becky is about to get buried ever since her push started. Charlotte or not. Last week, she was the centerpiece of both shows, and there were still people keen to tell us that she was going to have the title immediately taken off of her and be sent permanently back to catering. Once again, fucking idiots. They never let shit play out. My thing is this. The people that are afraid that she's going to get buried, in my opinion, are the people that, you know what, I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to go there. Someone said paranoia is a real thing, and it's always weird. The irony of it is that Becky has probably been the strongest book star in WWE for almost 6 months now, since Money in the Bank. She virtually always wins clean, whether heel or face. And even when she technically loses SummerSlam and Super Showdown, she still stands tall at the end. But due to the held back reputation, there's this idea that booking has nothing to do with where she is, but because of the booking, but because of that, the booking could take her down at any moment, which again is ironic as hell. Some people said part of Ronda being booed, is my opinion, is that she's not coming across as a face. She belittles all her opponents in heelish ways. People don't like Nikki, so they cheered what she said, which is what I said as well. But in what way is how a face talks? But in what way is that how a face talks about someone, especially someone who is supposed to be leading this women's evolution. Not to mention she injured Alexa twice, which once again I agree with. Like, she's belittling all of her opponents as faces with hypocritical promos and IG and Twitter posts. Yet I'm supposed to cheer that over a Becky Lynch, over a Nikki Bella. She doesn't come across the space. And then someone said, because what got people on Ronda's side in the UFC was a heel like by WWE standards. Ever since she came in, she's always been the old school, always smiling babyface. Not to mention the promos are very contradictory at times. Don't dismiss it, but she was pushed straight to the top, down our throats, which I definitely agree. Last one, false. The whole she sucks at wrestling and hasn't improved at all narrative is trash. This is about Alexa Bliss. People were high on her as just about anyone during her first 5 to 6 months of her heel run. Then, just like everyone else who holds a title for a long time, the fans turned on her. While her wrestling capabilities are obviously not her strong suit, she's definitely not anywhere as bad as people made her out to be, which I agree with. As I said, I don't think Alexa is bad. I just want her to do more and what I know she's capable of doing and what I have seen her do. But before she got injured, I saw her bringing out that more, so. And the whole she's a blonde with a great ass, so that's the only reason she's getting a big push is extremely obnoxious. And the fact that you're just tossing out all her hard work and effort like that is pretty much everything, is pretty much against everything the whole women's revolution stood for. And once again, I agree. I totally freaking agree. The same people that want women's revolution and that want women's wrestling to be great are the same ones that bash Alexa Bliss and Carmella and the Bellas and all the people that didn't come from the fucking indies and say that because they're hot with great asses that's why they're getting pushed, and completely ignoring all the hard work, all the merchandise, all the media, all the passion that they've all shown. Yet you want women's wrestling to be great, yet you're bashing women's wrestlers that have helped move this forward. The Bellas, Alexa, Carmella have all helped move this forward. And you're bashing them because they're not what you think women's wrestling is about. That's because you're not a real wrestling fan. You just want the people that you like, and that's cool. But don't claim to be for the women's revolution and then completely contradict yourself not even 2 seconds later. But on that note, I'm about to eat some lunch and watch some movies because I have to work tomorrow and Saturday. So I'm just going to chill out today. So, see you guys later. Bye.